The first of 5, yes 5, Oni RPGs on Game Boy is sadly the only one that has a fan translation, so I am happy to say I can bring this to you. The other ones, well, I'll try my best, but no promises. This is the one that started a whole franchise though. Not only was there a quintet on Game Boy, but there were also Oni games on SNES, PlayStation, and even as late as the DS. Aside from the educational tools, the fact that this has 4 sequels makes it the most prolific game series on the Game Boy, tied with the Mega Man series of course, which also had 5 entries. I know characters like Kirby and Crayon Shin-chan had that many games too, but not in series. Kirby's Block Ball, Star Stacker, and Pinball were spin-offs. Even Super Mario Land only had 3 original Game Boy sequels, and one of those was re-released as color games. Oni didn't necessarily renovate the RPG genre, but it took the formula and made something good enough to justify such a lineage. I love the way the camera moves. Your character is not static in the center space of the screen, but instead, you walk about halfway to each respective edge before the camera moves. This adds a satisfying level of polish that makes the game feel just that bit more professional than a lot of its contemporaries. The overworld looks pretty full, with each tile having nicely drawn and full textures. You don't get that same blocky impression you do with some RPG overworlds. I find it a little irritating that your hometown is not displayed on the map though. You just sort of reappear in it when you're close, and it can be all too easy to get lost. Once you're into your adventure, it's fine because you don't really revisit all that often, but when you're low level and need to constantly heal up, it can be a pain. It is definitely worth grinding up a few levels though. Enemies don't seem to drop anything until you reach level 3, which is actually level 4 seeing as you start at level 0, but whatever. They yield the same money and XP regardless of what level you are, but at level 3 they'll also give you medicinal herbs and antidotes, and so on. Plus, the first weapon you can buy is pretty lame. It's worth getting the 250 monies needed to buy the iron katana before you start your journey. Once you finally set off and make your way east to the next town, a ninja will jump you and steal a vital sacred text from you. Upon returning home to report this to your master, who gave it to you, you find your town has been abandoned and your master lying on the floor of his house, having been attacked. Weirdly, the blacksmith and innkeeper are still cheerfully trading away in a ghost town. Now it's up to you to seek revenge on the yokai who did it. Remember the water monsters from Ayakashi no Shiro? Well, they are an example of yokai in Japanese folklore. Your dying master gives you a lithograph that you need in order to find a gem down south that will open a path up north. You'd really need to read the text to understand this, which is why I'm so grateful for the translation of Oni 1. The menu navigation is fluid and simple. All your equipment, items, and magic are on the same screen as your status, and the flow is smooth and quick. The intro music is pretty rancid, and it gets a little better throughout, but not much. When you return to your village to find a bunch of corpses, the music is the same stupid up-tempo nonsense from when you were there before, rather than an emotive, atmosphere-building song that should have been there. Audially, the game is a real letdown. The passable sound effects don't really compensate for the soundtrack. That's pretty much the only area where the game struggles though. The visuals are fantastic, the storyline compelling, and the battle system, while not exactly innovative, is instinctive and very well balanced. I'm really disappointed that none of this pentalogy made it out of Japan, but we all know Westerners don't play RPGs, right? That seemed to be the prevailing logic, especially with Nintendo in the early 90s. We missed out on so much good stuff. Believe it or not, in Europe we didn't even get Chrono Trigger. One of the greatest and most accomplished games of its generation, compelling even today, and you couldn't buy it in the UK until 2009. Nintendo just didn't think there was a market in our lowly part of the world. I can't help but ponder what a massively missed opportunity all that was. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below, and if you can spare a second, give the review a quick thumbs up, it really helps out. Subscribe to the Portable Power Podcast for a new Game Boy review every day from Monday to Friday. Or alternately, new episodes of the podcast drop every Saturday and Sunday on whichever platform you get your pods. See you later on.